You're watching TVC Breakfast. It's time for us to see the headlines across Nigerian newspapers. I have with me in the studio Dr. Dayo Kayode is here. Dr. Kayode, good morning. Good to see you.
Good morning,
You're
Jare,
welcome. Morning, Jare. You know. And I have Dr. John here as well. Dr. Good morning.
Good morning, Mike.
Good to see you.
Happy Monday.
Yeah, happy Monday.
Yeah.
The point there is not so many people will say happy Monday because it's a day of work.
Especially in your Lagos.
Exactly.
Lagos.
All right, let's begin with the first news. First news is where we start from right now. Medical trip, Buhari clears air, hands over to Osinbajo. That is what the first news says. Buhari clears the air, hands over to Osinbajo. That's the vice president. All right, that's what the first news has. From there, let's go to Leadership newspaper. Leadership says, 19 days to convention. APC won't collapse on my watch. PMB vows, as the President Muhammadu Buhari is saying that. 19 days to convention. APC won't collapse on my watch. Okay. From there, let's go to Daily Times. Daily Times is also talking about the national convention. APC will surprise critics. Buhari is saying this, right? APC will surprise critics. President Buhari is quoted as saying this. The Nation newspaper. APC zoning panel submits report amid disagreement. Leaders split over key National Working Committee positions. Buhari is saying we will overcome all the crisis. That is what the Nation newspaper has in there. This Nigeria is next, where it says that Northern Elders, Ango Abdullahi, leadership is our biggest problem, and says, I support Biafra. Nigeria's diversity is that of hostility. These are all opinions there on the front page of this Nigeria. Leadership is our biggest problem. Northern Elder Ango Abdullahi is quoted as saying this. Right? I believe a lot of Nigerians will agree with the perspective of leadership being part of the challenge there. Abuja Enquirer is next, and it says Abuja residents groan as heatwave fuel scarcity persists. Heat stroke, meningitis fears heighten. All right, and this is hell. Residents are saying so. Recall that the governor of Kaduna State recently was talking about those who reside in Lagos. He said that they should be given straight visa to heaven because they're already going through a lot of hardships already. He was quoted as saying that. All right. This is the Abuja Enquirer. Let's go to News Direct. News Direct talks about fuel scarcity, and I believe a lot of you are still having this. A lot of you, a lot of us, all of everyone. Motorists dump 200 naira per litre filling stations amidst uncertainty over deregulation, as long queues reduce in Lagos and Southwest. Okay, it's talking about fuel scarcity. Of course, we'll talk about this as we get along. Daily Trust is next, and food crisis looms as fertilizer price soars ahead of rainy season. Russia-Ukraine conflict may worsen situation there, and the experts propose way forward. Okay, that's what Daily Trust has. National Economy says federal government's 5-year target of 1.4 million domestic refining capacity unrealistic. Experts are skeptical about this. All right, let's go to the Punch newspaper. The Punch says World Bank projects 4 trillion naira 2022 fuel subsidy, and experts predict more loans. Okay, they're predicting more loans in the coming year. Right, that's Punch newspaper. Business Day is the last one we're looking at now. Business Day says Nigeria's biggest firms earn most in 7 years. All right, Nigeria's biggest firms earn most in 7 years. All right, you want to see the statistics? You can take a look at that. All right, News Direct is what we'll look at. It affects everyone. It's talking about fuel scarcity, News Direct, and it says motorists dump 200 naira a litre filling stations amidst uncertainty over deregulation. Dr. Kayode, I wonder if where you are it seemed like over the weekend, the queues have started reducing and there seemed to be availability of fuel to some extent.
Yeah, no doubt about it that the queue has reduced a bit, but I was just lucky on Saturday. I just decided to go out and I was walking with my mind. Interestingly, I just saw this Orlando on Ojodu Road, not too far in front of road safety. I just entered there. I bought my fuel under 50 minutes at the same price. 162 naira 50 kobo per liter. But there are so many, not just so many of them, selling at 200 naira per liter. Especially in the hinterland, like Alagbule, Akute, Ajuwon, Ikorodu. You understand? Down the road to Iju, Ishaga, Alagbado. You understand? And again, there are some of these filling stations that are having fuel. In fact, there is this. I saw 3 tankers there that are delivered. But because they are trying to create artificial scarcity, for them to be able to be selling at that 200 naira per liter, and then they also have agents in all those guys buying in jerry cans, which they collect money from. So they will now be selling maybe 1 pump. Out of like 6, they'll be selling maybe 1, maximum 2. So you can imagine what's going to happen there. But the issue is, government, especially DPR, should come out from their shell and then tackle this issue appropriately. But again, I also pity all those guys there that works in all those NNPC, do we call them parasitars or so? Because what we are seeing in all sector, whatever in this country, is nothing other than a leadership conspiracy against these people. And I will tell you this because there is a whole lot of thesis I'm coming up with on that now. And I tell you this. Let us even take it from 1999. Just from 1999 down the line here. Before then, we were having refineries working. 4 refineries working perfectly. Nigeria was not importing petroleum. But along the line, the thing started diminishing. In those days, I remember when my father entered the filling station, they would ask him, do you want to buy ordinary or super? Ordinary or super? There is a particular filling station, they always call my daddy tough KU super. Because he always go for that super. You know, he will go for super. Do you understand? But do we have it again these days? No. 2, those refineries, while they were disturbing us, who repaired them? Nobody. We have been talking of subsidy, and each government, each political party that is not in power, say subsidy is the fraud. And when he gets there, he continues with that subsidy. So why are you now covering up the preceding government by not exposing that thing? So you cannot see that connivance against the people. Okay. But I think with time, because of time, let me just rest it there.
It's okay. With time too, water will find its level, like they say. All right, Dr. The point there is, over the weekend, someone organized a party and decided, this fuel that is so scarce for people, let's try to see how we can make them available as souvenir for the guests that came. Because the point there is, they must have burned fuel, to honor our invitation, as the case may be. So, let's put fuel in kegs and distribute as souvenir. But that has received a lot of backlash from Nigerians. In fact, I understand some arrests have been made and all of that. But others have said that is the situation we found ourselves right now. And someone was just trying to help. People have seen it from different perspectives. But what do you make of that?
Now, I'm going to go a bit philosophical and deeper. Because the issue of fuel scarcity or the amount of money we are calling on per liter is not even the problem. The problem is that you can sell fuel for 400 naira if you reduce the dependence of Nigerians on fuel. How do you want to do this? By making electricity available. I know that if I don't run a car, that I may not need your fuel. By making public transport efficient. You see, the concept of prosperity, I keep telling people this and it's like they are not listening. The concept of prosperity, Mike, is not when you have a car and you can drive. The concept of communal prosperity is when public officials can take public transport. I know Dr. Kayode does not go by public transport, but go and travel.
Because it's not efficient.
Yes, it's not efficient.
It's not efficient.
But go and look at what people go through every time. You see, I travel from here to Ondo State every now and then, and it's like at some point I will have to pay for 2 people because it is just not efficient.
Yeah.
We were on our way on Tuesday or Wednesday. We bought fuel very close to Ore. It was for 320 naira per liter. At a point, it was 230. Because that guy just got there when they said 300 something, he said, just give me 5 liters to get to the next
because people are desperate.
Because people are desperate.
And they are
so what do we need
desperate.
to do? We need to reduce dependence on petrol. When you do this, then you can compare. In all reality, I've traveled around communities around here. In West Africa sub-region, Nigeria petroleum, this thing is the cheapest. But there's no country that relies on petrol the same way we rely on it. Because there's no light, you have to take your pepper, for example, to go grind using petrol. Because the public transport is not efficient, you have to look for fuel to drive your own car. How long? Because your NEPA is not working or power holding is holding light, you have to use generator. By the time and that's why anybody can distribute it in a party. It's a time bomb. Look at the number of people that generate what they call fumes has killed in Nigeria.
Exactly.
These are avoidable deaths that we walk into. And he was talking about a pre-1999 this thing. The question I was asking myself here is that what good has democracy brought to us? Democracy is defined as the government of the people. For the people. The essence of democracy is to give prosperity to the people. In the Second Republic, 1979, the total debt that the military administration of President Olusegun Obasanjo handed over to the politician, I use the word the politician deliberately, was 4 billion naira. Before the politician left there in 1982, he was around community spending money, and our debt has climbed to about 13 billion naira. The same thing. What was the national debt in 1999? We remember in 2006 that we were even forgiven or some of the debts were cancelled. How did we get to this point? So the discussion should be about, we have 4 refineries, Mike. Their total capacity is less than 500,000 barrels per day. One person is coming up to fix a refinery, to build one that is going to be giving us 750,000 barrels per day. And we call ourselves the government. The deceit is so loud that we cannot continue to pretend. And it's not a subject of APC or PDP. There's a communal conspiracy to keep people in poverty. We must not continue. Maybe I'm talking like this because I got my own share on Saturday. As I entered Lagos on Saturday,
your share of palliative?
No, of the hardship. I see, I've been preventing my daughter from getting exposed to some of this madness in the community. But I made a mistake on Saturday.
Are you turning her to Robinson Crusoe?
No,
is it
forget about that. I made a mistake on Saturday.
The adventures of Robinson Crusoe is a hardship by itself.
I made a mistake on Saturday as I entered town. I just said, okay, let's go to the filling station. And innocently, we got there with our keg in our hand because I want to buy fuel for the generator. And in our very eye like this, they put on a very small generator, power one pump. So there was no light in the entire filling station, except that one pump. So we got there before they could finish what they were doing. Obviously, they were selling fuel into 50 liters of keg so that they can sell it in the black market. So we got them in the act.
You see that?
So I put my keg down and I said, oh, sell fuel. They said there's no fuel. My daughter turned to me and said, but what do they want to do with that one? Mike, I burst into tears. That, okay, at the last, this young lady cannot escape it. It's real. Everybody is passing through it. So it's going to be insane for any government to justify anything Nigeria is going to do. The essence of leadership, if you can have resigned in positions, if I know that my ability does not match with it, I will let it go. Not that you will promise the people that heaven and earth, and you get there, you'll be strolling on the path of purpose, disturbing people that are going places. It has to stop.
It's okay. Well, the point there is, this administration was commended in some quarters by the reason of the fact that we didn't have so many queues, at the course of this administration. But then we had a situation where a very avoidable situation where somebody would have checked the, verified or regulated, and bad fuel, slipped through the hand and came into the country, giving rise to this whole
and that is why
situation right
that's why I'm still saying it's still a conspiracy. And I will still explain further. I will go to another chapter. This fuel, the vessel left Belgium, Antwerp. Before that vessel will leave Antwerp, there's what we call supercargo. That is inspector agents. They will go to that vessel to inspect what we call Q and Q. That is quantity and quality, whether it's the same with what is in the bill of lading. Okay? After ascertaining that is when the vessel can leave. All right? When it gets to Nigeria, the same will be done. When we are discharging into the storage, the same will be done. When it's also coming to the filling station, the same. That is, there is a trajectory of safety. There is a trajectory of. Do you understand? So how did they break all those nodules within that trajectory? It is because those people that are bent on unleashing hardship on Nigerians, they also have accomplices on each of the nodules within the trajectory. And mark you, Mike, how many filling stations sold the adulterated fuel? We can count them now. So that means they also knew the filling stations that they can bring in as accomplices to them. That is one. Two, along the line, NNPC now said, okay, let us evacuate all this. A particular body came up. Let us mix it now. When we mix it, at least we will still use it. But then they have forgotten that in your casting with fresh panadium cannot be the same thing. In your casting, terms of yesterday's panadium.
This one is a local one.
I'm a local man now. In your casting, don't break your jaws.
What do you call it? In your casting.
Don't break your jaws. That is panadium of yesterday. Panadium of yesterday. When you mix it with fresh, look at this society. When you mix it with panadium of today, can it be the same? It will still run your stomach.
No,
do you understand? Now look at where we are. And that is why sometimes I pity some people in positions of authority in this country.
Why is that?
Do you understand? Because they wouldn't know what their leaders there are planning. They will know. It is a total conspiracy of leadership, not only political, including some of the religious, some of the traditional, some of the cultural. Because some of the religious ones, we also go to them. God had said, yeah, go ahead, no problem, go ahead. He has said, which God has said? Do we have 5 gods? When different religious leaders have been saying different things. So, Mike, when I talk about leadership conspiracy against the people in this country, people should investigate it. People should also let people go and research, technical leader, research into it. And then you will confirm what I'm saying. And not until when the people decide to hold the bulls by themselves, that enough is enough in this country. We can't get to anywhere.
All right, Doctor, the fact that fuel is returning and everything is becoming normal, Nigerians ultimately still expect that heads should roll for this mistake in the first place.
I don't know the definition of normalcy, but nothing has returned to normal. As we speak now, check the filling stations around town.
You still have
still under lock and key all over the community.
Yeah.
Still waiting, still taking advantage of inefficiency of people that are supposed to do the basic things. You see, anytime I come here and I talk about leadership failure, I'm not pointing accusing fingers at President Buhari. No, you see, there's a general capacity collapse. That's my concern. Get out there now. You will lose hope in Nigeria. Is it not generation? We are building another generation now of Yahoo Plus. The other day, some few days ago, somebody left her house, enter BRT, sir, and got missing before she got to Oshodi. The police are on top of the situation. Government vehicle. Which vehicle do I want to enter? I'm avoiding one chance, the popular one chance. I got into government vehicle, then the driver decided to. So there's a general problem in our hand. Unfortunately, it boils down back to leadership, because leadership has to show direction. Leadership has to put, I've said it, and I remember I told you some 5 years ago, Mike, that the person that will turn this country around is not the everything goes kind of leader. Everything goes. No, you have to be firm. In my own little space, I decide to be firm in my own little space so that everything, the system can work. If I can do that in my little space, I expect every other person. It is a fence, is a house without fence that animal will just stray into the way they like. And that's what's happening with Nigerian government.
Yeah.
Some people will leave their country. Their countries are working. They will leave their country. As contractors, they will come to Nigeria, Mike. They will take contract. They will not execute. They will collect money. Because they know your government will not do anything. So we need somebody. It's beyond, anytime I see people campaigning for now, I'm just here asking myself question. Please, we need to sit down and ask ourselves, we need strong leadership that will be able to provide economic direction and character direction for the people.
All right. We have to leave it here now. Of course, you have all made points that one should take to the banks and use it for the benefit of all of us. Money. Thank you so much, Dr. Ojon, for coming on the program. Thank you. And Dr. Daya Kaide, thank you very much for coming as well.
My pleasure. Thanks for having us. But then you say we should take this to the bank. Is it to collect money?
You can save it for the rainy day. It's okay. In your kasi. All right. I've learned a new one today.